era as future fuel. Especially in India, after launching Green Energy Mission by Government of India, this subject has become hot for academic discussions. So, considering all these importance, we have organized one-day international workshop on this burning issue. The topic of this workshop is a step towards sustainable future, green energy, entrepreneurship, and sustainable development goals. I would like to welcome and introduce our guest speaker, Engineer Puneet Agrawal. Mr. Puneet is young and dynamic and passionate personality. He is having a lot of ideas, energy, and enthusiasm. He did his degree in electrical and electronics from SRM University, Chennai, master's degree from University of Wollongong, Mumbai. He is leader, auditor of ISO 9001 2015, ISO 45001 2018. He holds Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. He is assessor of European Foundation for Quality Management Model. He has 7 years experience of working in automotive industries, certification industries, government utilities across the India, Dubai, and Thailand. He has published one paper on blockchain technology in International Journal of Information System. Another paper on Lean Six Sigma is now due for publication in measuring business excellence and is currently working on green hydrogen energy. He has kindly agreed to conduct this session for us and sharing his research findings with us. So, we are truly delighted to welcome you here today. Now, I invite Coordinator and Organizing Secretary, Dr. Prem Sonwal ji, to share his thought about the workshop. Sonwal ji, please.
थैंक यू सर। जैसा कि आप सभी को मालूम है कि आज जो हमारे इंटरनेशनल ई वर्कशॉप है उसका टॉपिक है ए स्टेप टुवर्ड्स सस्टेनेबल फ्यूचर, ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एंड एसडीजीज। महात्मा गांधी जी का कथन वो मेरे को याद आता है कि देयर इज एनफ फॉर एवरीबॉडी नीड एंड नॉट फॉर एनीबॉडी ग्रीड। तो हमारे पास पर्याप्त संसाधन है, लेकिन हम उसका अगर सतत उपयोग करेंगे, सस्टेनेबल यूज करेंगे, तो हमारे आने वाली पीढ़ी है उनके लिए भी वो उपलब्ध होंगे। और जो नई नई टेक्निक्स है एनर्जी की, और उसमें क्या क्या उद्यमिता, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप और एसडीजी सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स जो यूएन ने निर्धारित किए 17 गोल्स 2030 तक, उनको हमको अचीव करना है और एक जो सुंदर सी और ग्रीन पृथ्वी का निर्माण करना है। भारत भी इसमें पीछा नहीं है। भारत ने भी नेशनल ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन मिशन को प्रारंभ किया है और उसी में वो निरंतर आगे बढ़ता जा रहा है। तो मुझे पूर्ण आशा है कि इस जो इंटरनेशनल वर्कशॉप है इससे सभी को लाभ मिलेगा और जो नवीनतम जानकारी है, नवीनतम जो चेंजेज है उसके बारे में जानकारी मिलेगी। थैंक यू
सो मच डॉक्टर सोनवाल जी for enlightening the objective of the workshop. Teamwork is the ability to work together towards a common vision. The ability to direct individual accomplishment towards organization as objectives reflects the personality of our principal, sir. I invite you, sir, to deliver a welcome speech. Please come.
शहीद कैप्टन रिपुदमन सिंह राजकीय महाविद्यालय सवाई माधोपुर में आयोजित ई वर्कशॉप के मुख्य वक्ता इंजीनियर पुनीत अग्रवाल साहब, संयोजक डॉक्टर अमरनाथ अग्रवाल, ई वर्कशॉप के आयोजन सचिव डॉक्टर प्रेम सोनवाल, हमारे विद्वान साथी व ई वर्कशॉप में ऑनलाइन जुड़े सम्मानित प्रतिभागी, आज सभी का ई वर्कशॉप में हार्दिक स्वागत व अभिनंदन करता हूं। आज हमें ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन के इस्तेमाल पर ई वर्कशॉप करने की आवश्यकता क्यों पड़ी? भारत तेजी से विकास के रास्ते पर बढ़ रहा है। इस विकास के पीछे ऊर्जा के परंपरागत स्रोत है। मिसाल के तौर पर कोयला, प्राकृतिक गैस व तेल ऊर्जा के लिए प्राकृतिक संसाधन लाखों वर्षों से में जाकर बनते हैं। इन भूमिगत संसाधनों का उपयोग आजकल बहुत तेजी गति से हो रहा है, लेकिन ये संसाधन सीमित है जो हमेशा नहीं चल सकते। अनुमान है कि खनिज तेल के स्रोत लगभग 50 वर्षों में समाप्त हो जाएंगे। प्राकृतिक गैस 65 वर्षों में खत्म हो जाएगी। कोयला आगामी 120 वर्ष में धरती से खत्म हो जाएगा। इस सीमित संसाधनों को आने वाली पीढ़ी के लिए बचाकर आज हमारी मुख्य प्राथमिकता है। अक्षय ऊर्जा प्रणाली द्वारा हम सूर्य, वायु, पानी, समुद्री लहरें व बायोमास को बिजली के रूप में बदल देते हैं। यही अक्षय ऊर्जा का या हरित ऊर्जा के रूप में जाना जाता है। सौर ऊर्जा हमें आसानी से उपलब्ध है, जो मुफ्त में मिलती है। एक अनुमान के रूप में एक साल में जितनी पृथ्वी पर सौर ऊर्जा पहुंचती है, जो हमारी संपूर्ण विश्व की ऊर्जा खपत से 15,000 गुना अधिक है। भारत में सौर ऊर्जा की इतनी भरमार है कि हम प्रति वर्ग मीटर 20-20 मेगावाट के अनेक सोलर पावर प्लांट लगा सकते हैं। सूर्य ऊर्जा को बिजली में बदलने के लिए थर्मल उपकरणों का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। पवन ऊर्जा से बिजली बनाने की मुख्य रूप से वायु का प्रयोग किया जाता है। इस प्रणाली में पवन ऊर्जा का विद्युत ऊर्जा में परिवर्तित किया जाता है। पवन ऊर्जा की सबसे पहले उत्पत्ति हॉलैंड के एक पवन मिल में हुई थी। आजकल पवन ऊर्जा का उत्पादन बड़े पैमाने पर किया जा सकता है। बायोमास एक ऐसी जैविक सामग्री है जिसका प्रयोग जैव ईंधन के लिए होता है। इसके कई मुख्य स्रोत है, जैसे वन की लकड़ियां, वनस्पति व कृषि अवशेष। बायोमास आर्थिक विकास का एक महत्वपूर्ण संसाधन है। बायोगैस की तुलना में बायोमास जलाने में अधिक ऊर्जा देता है। हाइड्रोजन प्रकृति में आम तत्व है जो अन्य तत्वों के साथ संयोजन में मौजूद है। प्राकृतिक यौगिक जैसे पानी से निकाला जाता है, जो एक स्वस्थ ईंधन का स्रोत है। विश्व में 1970 में पहली बार जीवाश्म ईंधन के स्थान पर हाइड्रोजन की संभावना को गंभीरता से विचार किया गया। सभी जरा सोचिए, विश्व भर के सभी ईंधन खपत खत्म हो जाए तो क्या होगा? तब अक्षय ऊर्जा के स्रोत जैसे पवन, सौर, जल, बायोमास आदि से हर ऊर्जा प्रदान की जा सकती है।
Thank you, sir, for your graceful welcome speech and sharing your views about the e-workshop. जिसका था इंतजार वो घड़ी आ गई, आ गई, आ गई. So once again I welcome with thunderous ovation, तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट के साथ, and invite our guest speaker Mr. Puneet for delivering his lecture. We are excited to hear you. So please continue our event by sharing your views with us. Thank you. Please share your views.
Thank you. Thank you. It is an honor to be presenting at the International Workshop on Green Hydrogen today, organized by the SCRS Government College in Sawai Madhopur. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Gopal Singh, the principal of SCRS Government College, Dr. Amarnath Agrawal, the head of the Department of ABST, and Dr. Prem Sonowal, the head of Department of Geography, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this prestigious event. I will just share my screen now. Just hold on. I believe that this workshop will provide a great opportunity for participants to learn, discuss, and also collaborate on new ideas and technologies related to green hydrogen. I look forward to sharing my thoughts and ideas with all of you and hearing from my esteemed colleagues as well. Let us come together to explore the potential of green hydrogen and to work creating a sustainable and clean future for generations to come. I'm delighted to present this agenda for the presentation today, which focuses on many different aspects of the green hydrogen, a promising new energy source that has the potential to change the way we think about energy generation and sustainability. First, we will begin with an introduction to hydrogen energy, which is why it is an efficient fuel and how it can be used. We will then move on to the detailed discussion about green hydrogen, its production process, its comparison study with different types of hydrogen fuel. As with many new technology we have seen, green hydrogen is not without its own challenges. And the major challenges that we are going to see will be in the terms of production, storage, and transportation, along with the policy-related challenges that needs to be addressed to make this energy source on a large scale. Despite these challenges, the benefits of green hydrogen are significant, particularly for developing nations like India. We will explore the ways in which green hydrogen can help India achieve its energy goals, reduce its carbon footprint, and improve energy security. We will also focus on how skill requirements and career opportunities that exist in the green hydrogen industry, as well as the entrepreneurship opportunities that are available for those who are interested in exploring this exciting new field. Finally, we will examine how green hydrogen can help achieve sustainable development goals, such as reducing carbon emissions and promoting sustainable economic growth. We will then summarize our session for today, which will be followed by just a small question and answers. And before I ask you to raise any of your questions and discuss those questions with me. So I would just like to share a small questionnaire with all of you. I'm posting this on the chat window. So it won't take 5 minutes of your time, but the research that Dr. Amarnath Agrawal also pointed out that me and my colleagues are doing, this will help us to understand your views and your. So the survey is a very small questionnaire. It will just take a couple of minutes for you to answer, and we can proceed for next. It's in the Google chat. If you have the chat window open, you can open the link. We'll just wait for 5 minutes for people to respond. To those who have recently joined, we are just having I've just shared a small survey link. You can go to your Google chat window, open the link from the chat window, and just answer this small questionnaire if you are willing to do so. We'll wait for another 1 minute, and then we move on. Okay, maybe let's start. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, but it is not freely available in its pure form on Earth. It is typically found in combination with other elements such as oxygen in water or carbon in fossil fuels. When hydrogen is used as a fuel, the only byproduct we have is water vapor. Now, this is in contrast with other sources of fossil fuels, where we usually see a lot of carbon emissions coming out, and which is the result of what we see the global warming. Additionally, hydrogen can be produced from a variety of sources, including water and renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power. Secondly, hydrogen has a high energy density, which comes out to be between 0.08899 gram per centimeter cube, and a very high efficient fuel. And according to current technology estimates, we have efficiency between 40 to 60%. Okay, this is sorry. So this means this fuel has a lot of applications in terms of transporting and power generation. For example, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles have the potential for a zero emission attendant, or as compared to the gasoline powered cars. Similarly, hydrogen can be used in power plants to generate electricity without producing emissions. Hydrogen is also a very versatile energy source. It can be easily stored and transported, which makes it perfect for a wide range of applications. With each passing day, global alarms are ringing louder and louder for all of us. That in a race against time, the movement for exploring innovations that will reduce humanity in terms of carbon footprint, especially in the energy sector. Therefore, energy is today one of the largest contributors to the global greenhouse gases, with almost 73% reaching at the global level. And therefore, we see green hydrogen as a possible source of energy that can fulfill the need of energy requirements for the future generation. I'll play a small video for you. Can you hear the sound? If anybody
Yes,
can confirm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us look at a comparative study between different types of hydrogen. Grey hydrogen is produced from fossil fuels, typically natural gas. The process involves steam methane reforming, which releases large amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Blue hydrogen, on hand, is produced in a similar way to grey hydrogen, but the carbon dioxide emissions are captured and stored. That means these carbon emissions can be stored and can be transported and can be used in several other applications. Turquoise hydrogen is basically produced through methane pyrolysis. This process is quite innovative, and it is not being yet used in many across the world. However, the main advantage is there is no carbon dioxide emission. Green hydrogen, at last, is basically produced from renewable energy sources, as we saw in the previous video. And the basic concept is the power electrolysis, which split water between molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. This process does not produce any kind of carbon emissions and is considered the most sustainable and environmentally friendly option. However, green hydrogen is currently more expensive to produce than any other type of hydrogen, and the infrastructure for producing and distributing is not yet fully developed. As we know that any industry faces its own challenge. I recall 10 years back when I was doing my engineering from SRM University, the solar power energy wasn't really such a big name. I remember when I went for an internship in one of the plants, there were very few companies at that time who were actually having the solar plants. Some of the names that were at that time was Welspun, Reliance, Tata, GSWs, but not like we see today, where we almost see 100 companies. In every cities or almost every state have more than 100 companies, and these companies are coming up across the industries. You see whether it's an installation-based company or whether you see in terms of consultancy, in terms of battery management systems. So every industry takes its own time to grow. And that is what we need to see here, how green hydrogen energy can be made much more viable in a lesser time frame. Some of the challenges that we see currently in green hydrogen are high production cost. One of the biggest challenges for green hydrogen is the high cost of production, which can make it less competitive with other energy sources. As you know, that in the developing nations, the cost of energy is a very critical part. Unless until the cost of energy is certainly viable to the mass public, the governments and the private industry would not like to invest so much amount of money into this kind of technology. So essential part for all of us is to how to bring down the cost of these kind of energy sources. Limited infrastructure. There's currently limited infrastructure that we hold in terms of developing this sort of energy, whether it includes production, storage, or transportation. Also, we need to see the policy aspects of things. We are still seeing a lack of consistent policy in terms of developing green hydrogen. However, this has been recently addressed by the Prime Minister and the Government of India by launching this National Green Hydrogen Mission, which I will be discussing in my following slides. However, in addition to this, even the world is recognizing all of these changes, and we see through different newsprints that like the Europe has basically set some new rules for green hydrogen because, as you know, that there's a Ukraine war going on, and the whole Europe is facing its energy crisis today. So how to combat these sort of energy crisis, how to plan your energy future for the long-term purposes, these are the objectives that we need to look at. In terms of, so let's move next slide. Benefits for developing nations like India. So India has basically heavily dependent on fossil fuels for its energy fuels, with coals and oil accounting for over 70% of its primary energy consumption. India has significant potential for the production of green hydrogen as it has and wind power. India is one of the sunniest countries in the world, with an average solar installation of about 5 kilowatt hour per meter square per day, and has a vast coastline of strong winds. This means we have the sufficient sources for solar and wind energy. These sources can be harnessed to produce green hydrogen through electrolysis for homes, vehicles, and industries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently spoke on this subject when he cited green hydrogen will play a crucial role in help. India should become a global hub for green hydrogen production and exports. It is with this vision the National Green Hydrogen Mission was launched metric ton of green hydrogen per annum by 2030, with the potential to reach 10 million metric ton with the growth of export markets. Such an ambitious target the government of India have set to develop this sort of energy source, and it really the reason that we have is very obvious. The mission will significantly decarbonize the identified industrial sectors and prepare a foundation for similar transition in other emerging sectors like steel, shipping industry, energy industry, storage, for long-haul mobility vehicles like trucks. Furthermore, the production and use of green hydrogen can create jobs, stimulate economic growth, and promote sustainable development. In addition, we should not forget how much the negative balance of trade India has in compared to what our Middle East friends, where we purchase most of our oil and gas imports from these countries. Only recently we had our own Russian friend, which has been added to this list of buyers. But still, the balance of trade is highly on the negative side for India in terms of energy sources. Despite the potential of renewable energy sources to address India's energy crisis, there are still significant challenges to their widespread adoption. One major challenge is the lack of infrastructure and investment in renewable energy. Various studies have suggested that while India has set ambitious energy targets, however, it still lacks the necessary infrastructure and investment to meet this target. Now, what are the skill improvement measures that the student community or the professionals can take to enter into this new industry? The most important skill, in my opinion, would be technical skills. Professionals and students interested in pursuing a career in the green hydrogen industry should consider developing technical skills related to production of hydrogen energy, storage, utilization of hydrogen, as well as related areas such as how do we convert the renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and so on, and transfer it to green hydrogen sources. Relevant technical skills may be acquired through chemical engineering, material science, electrical engineering, and environmental sciences. Project management. Project management, as the green hydrogen industry expands, there will be a growing need for project managers with skills in areas such as projects, planning, risk management, and stakeholder engagement. Students can explore opportunities to develop project management skills through project management certifications. PMI is a very renowned organization which gives your PMI-related certificates. MSME is another body which gives project management certificates. They can seek internships and other practical experiences to gain the project management skill. Business and finance. As the industry grows, there will be increasing demand for professionals with skills in areas such as finance, accounting, and business development. Students who have interest in these areas can explore in this field through using courseworks, seeking internships, and by networking with professionals in the industry. Policy and regulation. The green hydrogen industry is heavily influenced by the policy and regulations at the local, national, and international levels. Students interested in pursuing a career in this field may consider developing skills related to policy analysis, advocacy, and regulatory compliances. A good example I would like to give you with the drone industry. With the drone industry. 5 years ago, I was working with a startup in India for a drone company. And the major challenge that we had at that time was how to make our customers, who were mostly government organizations, understand how these drones can help them in their businesses. And because of the lack of policy at that time, our sales were heavily impacted in that way. Only in 2019, we actually saw government stepping up to the challenge the startups and the companies are facing in terms of drone technology. And therefore, they decided to to relaunch the whole approach of developing drone industry. So similarly, all of you who are into, you don't need to be skilled in just technical matters. If you are into more of policy and regulated side, you can explore that field also and look into industry from your own perspective. Entrepreneurship opportunities. Green hydrogen presents a range of entrepreneurial opportunities across a wide range of industries. One of the key opportunities in the production of green hydrogen itself. As the demand for green hydrogen increases, there will be a growing need for companies that can produce it at a scale and at low cost. This includes companies that specializes in the production of electrolyzers, the equipment used to produce hydrogen through electrolysis, as well as companies that specializes in the installation and maintenance of electrolyzer system. In addition, there are opportunities in the development of new technologies and applications for green hydrogen. For example, companies can develop new fuel cell technologies that are more efficient and lower cost, or they can develop new applications for hydrogen in industries such as transportation, heating and cooling, and electricity generation. Another example I will give from my previous experience was in terms of electric vehicles, charging stations. 10 years ago, me and my friends started to develop electric charging station in our university. We contacted many industries at that time, including Mahindra, Tata's, and some of the other local companies in Chennai, but none of them were find it promising enough to set up electric charging station. However, the situation has changed today, and we see almost every city has now electric charging station. In fact, the road ministry is highly promoting setting up of new electric charging stations, and this industry can collaborate with these sort of new and ventures being promoted by the government. Entrepreneurs who want to set up their own businesses in this area can collaborate with the governments, with different organizations across the world, and see how these collaborations can result them in a more promising venture. It is no harm, in my opinion, to seek, first of all, improve your skills in the field by collaborating or working in different companies, and then taking on the banter of entrepreneurship. I've provided a list of companies across the world who are working currently in the field of green hydrogen. These are Plug Power, Hydrogenics, Air Liquid, Nel, ITM Power, and now 3 companies which I've listed here are Larsen & Toubro, Reliance Hydrogen, and Ashok Leyland. I hope one day I'll see some of the next few companies from the people who was present in this session today. Achieving Sustainable Development Goals. So there are basically 5 goals that we can associate with this green hydrogen field. Sustainable Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. The use of green hydrogen can help achieve universal access to affordable, reliable, and modern energy services, and the deployment of fuel cells and other green hydrogen technologies to provide clean energy for transportation, heating, and electricity generation. Sustainable Goal 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. The development of green hydrogen technology can help build resilient infrastructure and promote sustainable industrialization. This includes the development of green hydrogen into existing energy systems and make them more sustainable for a long-term use. Sustainable cities and communities. The use of green hydrogen can help promote sustainable urbanization by reducing air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. recent report has come highlighted that Mumbai is one of the most, also is the most polluted city and has taken over the Delhi now. Even if you compare the different air pollution levels across Indian cities, most of the cities have a range of more than 300, which is very toxic and highly, let's say, harmful in the long-term purposes. During my master's thesis, I highlighted on the subject of air pollution and how it is responsible for one of the most deaths that are occurring across the world. Unfortunately, governments and industries have not taken cognizance into the number of deaths and the fatalities that are happening due to air pollution. Sustainable Goal 13, climate action. The use of greenhouse, the use of green hydrogen can help mitigate the impact of climate change by reducing the greenhouse gas emissions through use of non-carbon emitting energy sources. And lastly, the partnership for the goals. As I said earlier, the importance is to partner with different stakeholders. The stakeholders are within your communities, your universities, international organizations, national organizations, and MNCs. Partnership. So the development of green hydrogen technology requires collaboration and partnership across multiple sectors and stakeholders. We need to understand how IT technology can be infused with this energy revolution that is happening around us, and how we can take advantage of different technologies, different industries, and bring them together to make this energy source much more economically viable and much quicker. Lastly, I will just summarize. Green hydrogen is promising new energy source that is produced using renewable energy sources and has the potential to help countries achieve their sustainable development goals by reducing carbon emissions and promoting sustainable economic growth. The green hydrogen industry presents many entrepreneurship opportunities, including research and development, production, and distribution of this source. The skill requirements for green hydrogen includes knowledge of renewable energy sources, project management, marketing, finance, policy-related matters, and so on. Successful green hydrogen technology implementation will require collaboration between governments, academics, and industry to address policy and economic challenges. Ultimately, the adoption of green hydrogen will require a significant shift in energy policy and infrastructure, as well as a commitment to sustainable development and environmental protection. I would like to thank ending the session today. I just have a small questionnaire for all of you. So I'll copy this link. And then we can move to our Q&A session.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Is it going to work?
I just shared our link on Google Chat.
Okay. Then it will be submitted by the candidates later on?
Yes, they can submit later also, not an issue.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a questionnaire from the presentation. So just to understand from me how you've understood this presentation. And if you have any questions now, you can raise your questions, or you can post on the Google Chat, whatever is good with you. Thank you.
All participants are requested to ask any question from the faculty, please.
Okay, Mr. Puneet, am I audible?
Yes.
In the field of transportation industry, which is better energy source, like electrical or green hydrogen or maybe hydrogen as a fuel, especially automotive or maybe rail transportation?
So there are two aspects of this. One is electric vehicle itself is a sustainable solution for sure. However, what we are seeing in terms of the mobility, the long-term mobility is still being a challenge because the battery has a limited capacity. And there is what we are seeing maximum challenges coming up in the terms of electric vehicles. I was reading about a recent article from, I think, I don't remember the company name, but the point that they are trying to make is electric vehicles will have a severe challenges in terms of long-term, long-distance solution. And therefore, green hydrogen has a potential to replace those electric vehicles for the long mobility vehicles. Because these green hydrogen has basically is a fuel that can be filled across the nations, and it will simply replace what we have today, the powers, the normal fuel tanks. So again, in terms of engine also, what we are seeing, the fuel cell engine is also much more promising and much more efficient as compared to electric vehicles. So I think we are going to see how the maturity of these two technologies grow over the time, and then only we can determine which will, let's say, rule over each other. But yes, it seems so far that hydrogen has much more as an additional advantage in terms of electric vehicles, simply because the challenges that we have in terms of battery.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone who want to ask the question, please?
आप हिंदी में ही पूछ सकते हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. कोई भी कुछ भी आपको समझ में नहीं आया हो तो आप हिंदी में पूछ रहे हैं.
कोई भी कैंडिडेट, कोई भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स या भी हिंदी में भी इंग्लिश क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहे तो यू कैन आस्क विदाउट एनी हेजिटेशन. आई थिंक
आपको मैसेज करना है तो आप मैसेज भी कर सकते हैं गूगल पे.
You can ask the question on writing down on the Google. You will find the answer. Okay, I think there is no question with us. So we are going to. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Puneet, for enlightening and sharing your valuable views on the future prospects of green energy and for sustainable development and save the earth. I would like to mention here that the keynote person, Mr. Puneet, is my son. I am proud of you, Mr. Puneet, for conducting this e-workshop in a wonderful manner. This was an excellent presentation in a very important topic. Thank you so much. Now I invite Mr. Prem Sonwal ji for vote of thanks.
थैंक यू सर. पुनीत जी ने काफ़ी बेहतरीन तरीके से जो हमारे जो ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन के बारे में हमें जानकारी दी, और मुझे लगता है कि जो हमारे से जुड़े हुए सभी पार्टिसिपेंट हैं उनको इसके बारे में जानकारी मिली होगी, क्योंकि ये हमारे लिए नया विषय है और आने वाले दिनों में हमें अधिक ऊर्जा की आवश्यकता होगी, अधिक एनर्जी की आवश्यकता होगी हर किसी क्षेत्र में. तो ये एक मील का पत्थर साबित होगी. मैं हमारे जो रिसोर्स पर्सन हैं पुनीत अग्रवाल जी और यहाँ पे जो हमारे साथी सभी जुड़े हुए हैं उनको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ कि अपना कीमती समय निकाल के आप सभी लोग जुड़े. और मैं मानता हूँ कि ये एक शुरुआत है. हमारे जो रिसोर्सेज है उनको अच्छे ढंग से उनका जो सस्टेनेबल यूज़ और जो नए नए जो हमारे जो रिसोर्स जो हमको प्राप्त हो रहे हैं, ताकि आने वाले समय में जो जैसा कि मैंने पहले बताया था, महात्मा गांधी जी ने बताया कि जो हमारा रिसोर्स है वो हमको ही ख़त्म नहीं करना है, हमारे आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए भी बचा के रखना है, भविष्य के लिए भी बचा के रखना है. और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग और क्लाइमेट चेंज की जो समस्याएं हमारे बीच में आ रही है, तो उसका भी एक ये समाधान है। बहुत बेहतरीन ढंग से पुनीत जी ने हमें बताया। सभी पार्टिसिपेंटों से निवेदन है कि मैंने अभी गूगल मीट के जो चैट बॉक्स है उसमें फीडबैक फॉर्म डाल दिया है, और यूट्यूब पे भी हम अभी डाल देंगे, और विद इन 15 डेज में आपके जो ईमेल आईडी है उस पे आपको अपना ई सर्टिफिकेट प्राप्त हो जाएगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you once again. We are going to
Thank you.
over this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.